Welcome Strategy Battle Gamers to another GBHL YouTube video. You're here with your host GBHL Damian
and GBHL Tom.
And this is episode 12 of
The
Palantir. And this week we are very lucky to be joined by our very own GBHL Daisy. Hey girl. Oh, how you doing? Yeah, that's right. I know a lot of you liked Daisy last week and we're kind of keen to see more of her, and I think Tom's kind of reconsidered his cold stance last week. Allowed Daisy to be in a video with us, so that's good, isn't it? You alright? What's the matter? What do you mean? Yeah, but that was only like 4 days. Yeah, but you know, it's for the league, wasn't it? It was important I was away. You understand that, don't you? I'm sorry. Okay. Oh, yeah. I'm really sorry, but you know, at least you get to be in a video at last.
Oh my god, yes.
Emma. We've talked about this before. First James, now Daisy. How do you possibly take advantage of her like this? Off you go. Dinosaurs, not so.
Prefer to do this one.
Oh yeah, obviously. Take advantage of Daisy.
Daisy.
Daisy! Welcome Strategy Battle Games to another GBHL YouTube video. You're here with your host GBHL Damian.
And GBHL Tom.
And this is episode 12 of The Palantir. This time with no dinosaur imposters.
Well,
there's not an imposter.
He's not an imposter.
Welcome.
Okay.
So yes, we are back as ever with our weekly show.
Yeah.
And we'll kick off proceedings as normal with little Tito's, which has been passed on
to Larry Miller.
Larry Miller from
Tom Macklin.
Tom Macklin. So there you go, Larry.
Cheers, Larry.
Here's to you. Don't forget to pass the tea toast on in the comments section below, so that someone else may receive a tea toast of their own. Little special mug review this week.
Well, for you, not me. This is the B mug.
It's the B mug.
The B mug.
Yeah. Whenever we have a new mug, you'll always see an old mug, so that we don't get rid of two new mugs a week. This is my Little Miss Sunshine mug, which is donated to me by Mr. Chris Murphy at the Scouring Established tournament.
Very generous.
Very generous.
I heard that it was meant to be for me, but then you rocked up.
No, because your one would have said Little Miss Boring.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But yeah, so I was at Stirling for the tournament on the weekend, and I'm sure there'll be a tournament review at some point. And when we got there, Chris said he knew how important tea was to me at these events, and that he didn't want me drinking out of a cardboard cup, so he got me a mug, which is amazing. And I think the caveat was it had to be featured on the mug review on the Palantir.
Yeah.
So thank you very much,
you
Chris.
Wouldn't have been all over that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And so yeah, James gets free models, we get free mugs. Which,
much better.
Yeah, much better. Mug's better.
Yeah.
And so yeah, thank you very much, and thanks and well done to everyone at Stirling, because it was a great weekend. Sad you couldn't be there.
Yeah.
Were you?
Yeah. Oh, I had a nice weekend.
Yeah, what did you do? Why weren't you there?
Well, because you weren't going to go originally, were you?
And that made your decision.
And then I'd already booked my holiday, and then I was like, I can't go if I'm not taking the holiday days.
Cool.
But I cooked a roast dinner.
Did you?
Had Callum and Josie round.
Yeah?
Yeah. I actually did.
How was it?
With Christopher as well.
Oh, very nice.
6 of us.
Get some games in?
No, we played board games.
Cool.
Keep everyone happy.
Yeah, obviously. Oh, that's good. So we all had a nice weekend.
Yeah.
How was yours? Let us know below.
Is this a new? This is a new feature.
Show's getting longer. Less and less about.
Okay, let's get on to the agenda then.
Indeed. So, what did we talk about last week?
Yeah, we just talked about the new models. Well, at the time, kind of leaked
pictures of the new models.
But obviously, when it came out that evening, the day the Palantir came out, the models came out.
It's very topical. Did well there. Thank you, whoever leaked that on a Tuesday. We normally record this on a Tuesday, so any leaked news is great news on a Tuesday. So, yeah, any comments?
A lot of comments.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes.
Would you like to talk about it?
We could talk about that. Okay. So yeah, lots of comments. A few on the prices, because obviously the prices are high given that they're in clan packs of 3 Finecast models. But it's no different to what the Gundabad's were. So
no. If you were trying to find a silver lining, the troops haven't had an increase in price.
No. The heroes are pretty hefty at £27 for 2 models. It's frustrating because it makes it very difficult for you to decide whether you want to get certain models.
Yeah.
And also the considerations of, I could afford a warband maybe, but realistically I want 2. But do I want to be shelling out that much on 2 warbands? So I think it just means that you've really got to want them to get them.
Yeah. The worry was, I can't actually remember like last week where we were in it, but the worry when I think a lot of people were ordering was there was this rumour about them being limited stock or while stocks last, which changes all that. If you know those elf spearmen are on sale for at least a year, then you can buy them when you want. Yeah. Now, when the White Dwarf came out, there's no sign of that. There's no sign of while stocks last.
But we're already got temporarily out of stock
on the swordsman.
But it's temporary.
Yeah, it was. It did say no longer available, didn't it?
I don't know. I didn't actually see that. I didn't actually log on the Friday because I was like, I don't think anything will sell out on the Friday.
But
because the White Dwarf hadn't even come out yet.
It has now changed to temporary out stock.
They'd be mad not to make more sculpts if they sell out after a few hours. Yeah, that would just be stupid.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed.
So so you have ordered some.
Yeah.
Did you tick everything?
No, I didn't get Leggy.
Okay. Was that the only one?
Yeah.
You didn't get Legolas. Okay.
I was at Stirling. I was on a practice game against Chris, and it was really good fun. And it was about 7:05, and he was like, "Oh, didn't you want to order some stuff?" And I had this like panic, like tickets going on sale at 9 AM. I'm like, "Oh my god!" So I rang Slayer and just spent a while on the phone to them, and I went through I got the elves, I got Thranduil, I got Tariel, and then I think I said out loud, "Oh, do I want the captain and the knights?" And Chris from the other side of the table went, like that. Alright, yeah, I'll get them. And then it's one of those things, the more you buy, the more you save.
How many, did you just get one of each?
I got 2 packs of these spearmen, so I got a full warband of elves.
Yes, that's what I would have done if I was ordering, which I haven't ordered yet. I think my plan is to wait and see what's available after everything's been released, and then I can more realistically buy within a budget.
Yeah, I mean it is.
Rather than going crazy every week when another lot comes out.
Yeah, one of the things we're saying that's it is a positive, but if they keep this up, there's more models by far than there were for the last release. Yeah. Which is cool, but the fact they're releasing them weekly makes it incredibly hard to budget, particularly
but the key thing is they're not ordered. They're pre-order, right? So there should be a point where they become available and you'll have a big lot to choose from before you can actually get them. So if they go temporarily out of stock, it's annoying, but again, realistically, if it's just temporarily out of stock, are you going to be painting that exact model the day after you get it?
No, of course not.
It doesn't matter if it takes a while to get to you.
It's just that slight collector's fear in me.
Yeah.
Did your opinion on the models change at all based on seeing all the official pictures?
Not really. I think I really like the heroes. I think all the heroes are great. I think that the elves, I like the poses. I think that the armour's not quite the same as it is in the trailer. The helmets are slightly different.
They are slightly different, but I think
that's within reason. But I don't know, the bows are just very small. I think some other people have made this comment.
Yeah, I've heard
The
that.
bows are a little small, and what I was thinking actually, if I was going to get them, is just to get 6 and 6, 6 swords and 6 spears, and not get any bows.
Did you see that shot in the trailer? About hundreds of arrows going up. It's like, right, so I'm going to need 100 of them and 200. Guys.
Yeah, because that's
Because actually, did we? Oh, we did know there were spears and swords, didn't we, last
Yeah,
week?
yeah,
Because I know they were.
with the double spears.
Yeah.
Because I think someone suggested, who was it? It was Ryan Smith, that they'd have something like the Whirl special rule, which would be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be a nice.
I mean, sorry about this. I've got so confused because I ended up doing Speak Friendly Question with James and Karen on Thursday,
okay.
and a lot of those questions are in there.
You are easily confused.
And in that, I was saying, I think I said this in the Palantir, and now I'm at that. I think I said
Okay.
this then.
Okay.
So I've talked about the new releases of a fair bit.
The frustrating thing from my point of view is that I'd like to do a Battle of Five Armies army, but it's annoying that the elves aren't easily accessible.
A
You
lot
have
of
to
people
get.
have talked about proxying Glathrim in there, which, for your friendly games.
I'd rather put Palace Guard and Mirkwood Rangers in, because at least they're the right. The fluff of the book, they're right.
Yeah, because Palace, I mean, this is all, we don't want to get near the proxy
No.
thing, but assuming your opponent's right with it, you can paint out Palace Guard as those kind of elves with swords and shields.
I was just thinking of you'd use the Palace Guard and Mirkwood rules and just
Yeah, I suppose.
add them in.
Yeah.
Anyway, so other comments that were made. Ian had an interesting point about the Thranduil on horse and said maybe the elk's just for show and he actually rides a horse into battle. So the elk is just for Thranduil to walk around on.
Walk around.
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah, maybe, I suppose. It's just there's been nothing of him on a horse.
No, I doubt it.
It's not a bad idea, but he seems to spend a lot of the battle fighting on foot
Mm.
from the trailer stuff.
Yeah.
But there's also rumours, I don't know if it was on the comments, but there's been a couple of people on different things that have said they've heard an elk's coming. Now,
Yeah.
that's utterly unsubstantiated, but
Let's hope so.
a couple of people I've heard whispers of that they've heard from a source that the elk is coming.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Owen had a point about the Thranduil and horse, saying that I think it was more just the timelines of things, because we were saying that they'd seen the release of the first film potentially not doing that well, so then decided to go to Finecast troops in the next wave.
Yeah.
And he was saying, why then would Thranduil not be the correct model, because they'd have seen the first film by then. But I think our opinion is that they probably had done that Thranduil anyway in that first wave, and yes, it's in Finecast and not in plastic like the Legolas and Tariel, but if that was designed for a box set, say,
Didn't we say as well, again,
Thranduil could be
confused,
Finecast.
that maybe the arms of the foot model are on the sprue of the horse model? Imagine you get 2 sprues in the pack,
Mm-hmm.
so you can't sell the foot model without selling the horse model. Maybe that was
That was Speak Friendly Question. You
But you see what I mean?
mentioned that.
So if you
No.
okay, so you get 2 sprues,
Yes.
and they're not always separated into the 2 models
Okay.
on Finecast.
Okay.
So say you just got the body of the Thranduil on foot,
Uh-huh.
and the other sprue, which has some of the horse components, has got the arms of the guy on foot. So if they
Right.
want to sell the foot model, they can't just swap out the horse model, because the horse is already on the same
I
sprue.
know. Yeah, I didn't know where you were coming from, but okay, you're saying that they couldn't redesign it because they've already made.
It's already an intrinsic
It's
part
sprue.
of the other
Yes,
model
yes,
sprue.
I see what you mean.
essentially.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Fine.
But maybe, I don't know. I think there was some talk of us contradicting ourselves, and it's quite possible.
Yeah.
Oh, we haven't said it this week, as ever. These
Yeah.
are just our thoughts and opinions, and
And
they
if
do
you-
not represent the views of the channel or the league.
Yep.
And it's quite likely we contradict
Yeah.
ourselves.
And if you think we're wrong, we probably are.
Yeah.
So comment below.
I don't, it doesn't surprise me the slightest. We're just chatting here and then come up with new ideas.
Yeah. So yeah, in some other news, rumours, the Perry brothers who create the Lord of the Rings models, they were extras in the Return of the King movie, and I think it's been confirmed on their site that they're going to be in the final Hobbit film as well, as extras. Obviously, whether they actually appear in the final film is down to the cuts that are made. But that's quite cool. And they actually sculpted themselves onto the mimic base. This is what I'm really going to struggle with his name. Conus of Polam. I can't do it.
Yeah, it could go.
Polmocrates.
Yeah.
There we go. That's probably wrong. Comment below. Yeah, so they've sculpted themselves onto the bottom of the movement base, and apparently they're going to do the same with this year's range. So they will feature on a model, or
Probably in some
as a model.
Lake Town refugee, I would think.
Yeah,
Maybe.
maybe.
Who knows?
Don't know.
But the idea behind that was that they'd been on set quite recently and they were still sculpting quite recently, so there's new stuff.
Yeah.
I guess. Alessio Cavatore was on the
yes,
on the base, wasn't
he was. Yes, he was the guy who created the first Lord of the Rings rule set, along with Rick Priestley.
He didn't do the first set. He took
Okay,
over.
Return of the King.
Rick Priestley did the first one, so he started work. He became like in charge of Lord of the Rings.
Okay, as of, was it Two Towers or Return of the King? He
I
definitely
think
did Return of the
He
King.
was writing the White Dwarf column during the Two Towers era,
Okay.
and I think he's the main credit on the Blue rulebook.
Okay.
I think, but it's Rick Priestley who's concept designer.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Then a couple of questions about the film. So one was, will we see, if we see a 6th edition box set where they go through The Hobbit and then Lord of the Rings, will they do any George Lucas style tweaking where there's, so say in the prologue Bilbo picks up the ring and it's Ian Holm, will they change that to then be correct with the Hobbit film?
Oh, I hope not.
So this was Christian Sir Jensen.
Someone asked Peter Jackson that.
Did they?
Yeah, at a convention or something. I've heard him be asked that, and I think he kind of didn't rule it out.
Yeah.
He didn't say, yeah, he'd want to do that, but he kind of said, if we ever got round to it, that's something we'd look at.
Yeah.
I would personally hope not. I think it's fine as it is. It doesn't matter.
No.
You wouldn't kind of like composite Gloin into the Council of Elrond, would you? Now that you've cast him and stuff.
No, or put Thranduil in like the prologue battle.
Mm-hmm.
Things like that.
I think it's fine as it is. I don't know, maybe they would, but I'd hope not.
Yep. And Randy England asked whether we think there will be more films after this. So not like a whole Silmarillion set, but still set with the characters, kind of the minorish characters from Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit. So say following Dane, something like that. I think
would be cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think that they wouldn't.
No, I don't think they will. I mean, the thing is, it's all about your studio's investment, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You can't. It's not like a Bond film or a a Marvel. Marvel would be a better example. It's not like they're going to have Middle Earth Dane or something like Middle Earth Origins Dane or something. It's the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit have their appeal.
Yeah.
Someone's mentioned actually. I think it was Charles or Kieran or Dave Nolan. I'm sure it was the car home from Sterling. They were talking about the idea of you could do the Scouring of the Shire as a film. That'd be quite cool.
Yeah.
As that story as a little short.
It'd have to be one film.
Yeah. No, Peter Jackson can make it into a trilogy. But that'd be quite fun.
Yeah.
And just things like that. It would be cool, but the little fan made ones might be a better way to do it. Like Hunt for Gollum and Ball of Hope.
Cool. Yeah. Then we got asked a speak friend and question. Speak friend and question style question from Doom Bunny about Christmas.
Christmas is coming.
Christmas. And it's still November.
Have you seen the Coke advert yet?
No.
I mean,
I don't watch television.
Key.
Just the YouTube channel.
Just the YouTube channel. That's all we want.
Fulfills all of my.
That's how Christmas started. Watching. You've seen the Coke advert.
Needs.
But what's the question?
What do we do at Christmas? Do we do anything festive? Do we give each other gifts?
Do we give each other gifts?
Do we take advantage of January sales, or do we ask for all of our hobby-related things for Christmas?
What does the holidays hold for us hobby-wise?
Yes.
It's an interesting little topic.
Yes.
Do we give each other gifts? We haven't, have we?
At Christmas, no.
We do birthdays.
Yeah.
We did birthday, as you saw.
Yeah.
Not 2 weeks ago. It was my birthday. Don't know if any of you knew. But no, we haven't done. Maybe we should do Christmas. Now we've got like a show. That'd be like a content, wouldn't it? Damian and Tom give each other stuff.
Yeah.
Hour video.
Yeah. Hour long video. Just you being.
Maybe we could do that.
We could just do you being like, no, no. Try again. No.
Get me through. Yeah, maybe we could do little prezzies.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there's stuff in the works for Christmas.
Yes.
Like video wise,
Yes.
we've got a few little, I think, Christmas treats. I'm really excited about Christmas. I love Christmas.
Good. You're like a little kid.
Yeah.
So you would naturally like Christmas.
Absolutely.
Yes. You like toys.
I do like toys.
You like Christmas.
I like Christmas.
Yes.
I
It's all
like,
adding
I
up.
like food. I like a drink. I like Christmas. It's all wonderful.
Yeah.
I love my family. You know, all the big Christmas things.
Yeah.
Yourself?
Yeah.
Excited about Christmas?
Yes. But yeah, I'll be going home, and then with Lily's family as well. So there may be times over Christmas where we're not going to get the Palantir done. So we
Indeed.
might have to.
But
The schedule will probably change.
we do have videos in place,
Yes.
ready to fill those gaps. But yeah, who knows over Christmas? Because
Christmas filler.
You're
We'll
going.
roll out the films.
We'll do a clip show of previous Palantirs.
Yeah.
But you're going up north for Christmas.
Yes.
For how long?
5 days.
I'm going to Florida for Christmas.
Yes, you are.
Well, not for Christmas, just after Christmas. That's pretty fantastic.
Yeah, that's another Palantir showstopper.
If I do a Palantir from Florida.
I'm
Great.
not going to get a ticket to Florida just to do a Palantir with
No,
you.
you're not invited.
Ah,
But hobby-wise,
Yes.
the build-up,
yes.
one thing, it's not really, it's kind of the hobby, I'm very excited about going to see the film
Yes.
a bunch of times. I'm now booked in twice. My second viewing, but
Okay. Is that after our viewing?
yeah,
Good.
yeah, it's on the Tuesday.
Okay.
But I'll probably get a load of toys,
Mm-hmm.
but not do a lot of painting.
Okay.
I think like when I'm at home, I won't. Last year I built a lot of stuff. I built my Mirkwood Rangers and my Palace Guard when I was at home sitting in front of the telly. But when I'm at home with my folks, I like to spend
With
time
them,
with them.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't think I'll do much hobbying. And I don't know, I don't think I'll ask for models for Christmas. I think because, I don't know, don't know if people will want to get me models particularly.
Well, I've come up with a cunning plan.
Yeah. Go on, what is your coming
My
point?
cunning plan is that I buy the new releases
Yeah.
and then sell them back to my family, essentially.
Oh, and tell them what the GW price is.
I didn't even think, yeah, buy them discounted and sell them back to my family. No, obviously I wouldn't do that. But yeah, that's how I thought I could, because a lot of people have been asking, what can we get you? And that's one way I can justify it, by going, alright, these might sell out or something, so I'll buy all of these,
Yeah.
and then give it, and Emma does this sometimes with her craft stuff, she'll buy stuff and then give it to me and say,
Okay. Yeah.
if anyone's after presents, so
Yeah.
can justify some of the cost of it that way. But yeah, there's not really, they asked about sales, there's not really sales as such.
No, not for the hobbying stuff.
So yeah, that's kind of what I've got planned. I've got a bit of downtime where there's a week where the students will leave before Emma finishes school.
Okay.
So I've got like a week where I might get
You
some
will.
hobbying
No,
done.
you will do some hobbying.
Yeah, hopefully.
Lots of hobbying.
Do some painting and stuff, that'd be nice.
Look
but
forward to 5 hobby vlogs
Oh,
in a
my
week.
goodness. I haven't done one in ages because I haven't painted anything in ages.
I just haven't done one.
Can't wear the camera.
No.
Hello? Hello, internet?
Okay, so what are we going to talk about this week? Are there any new models?
Yes, there's certainly new models. There's been a bunch of news and bits
Okay.
and bobs this week.
So before we jump into the models, there's been rumours about the actual source books or books that are going to come.
Mm-hmm.
What's that?
So we mentioned last week that there's a supplement in White Dwarf.
Yes.
Yeah, in White Dwarf 46, which is the one that will be coming out 2 weeks tomorrow when you watch this. With the rules in. But a rumour emerged, and I think someone commented on it. A rumour emerged that the Battle of 5 Armies from Games Workshop was going to be 2 books. One for mass combat system, a la War of the Ring, and one for skirmishing.
Interesting.
Interesting indeed.
But not a confirmed rumour.
No, and also very, very... It's hard to put your finger on, but after you've read the rumours, well, there's ones you believe and ones that seem a bit speculative.
Mm-hmm.
And like, so when every Friday now,
Yeah.
you tend to get a release list for the next week.
Yeah.
So when you see a release list on a Thursday or a Friday or Saturday, you can kind of believe it.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas suddenly, with everything pointing towards them slightly scaling down, moving away from War of the Ring for years, doing Finecast troops,
Yeah.
and putting towards a White Dwarf, then suddenly hearing they're going to do 2 source books, including the War of the Ring one, is...
Yeah. I mean, you're never going to do a Battle of Five Armies War of the Ring. You just can't get the elves. It'd be impossible to buy that many.
No.
You'd
It's not impossible.
have to be
Quite rich.
very, very rich.
But yeah, so personally, myself, I don't buy it.
So, if the White Dwarf supplement is in 2 weeks' time, do you think that implies that we'll get the elf release plus 2 more, then that's it? Because then they've put the supplement out. Or do you think that's good supplement? So they do elves, good army, done. Then do evil army with supplement.
Maybe. I mean, we were talking about this a fair bit of the weekend, that I think potentially it could be a full-on White Dwarf special. Maybe. So, because it's the day, the film goes out on the Friday and it comes out on the Saturday, so that White Dwarf has Hobbit stuff on the cover, the whole thing, that White Dwarf is a cover. But then that's at odds with the wording of a supplement in White Dwarf.
Yeah.
So, I have no idea.
There was another thing in the FAQ, which we may come on to talk about.
Indeed.
There's, it says, and in the...
It lists the unexpected journey, Destination Battle of Five Armies as if it's a thing.
But it could just be a supplement.
It could be the supplement called Battle of Five Armies in White Dwarf. Yeah. Which, of course, the upside of that is it will be cheaper. The downside of that, I would guess, is that it's going to be a lot smaller. Yeah.
Potentially.
But I have no idea.
No.
It's an interesting different model, but I certainly don't particularly believe there's going to be 2 source books.
No, I think there'll be 1 if there is one, and I hope there is one.
Yeah.
Okay, so
some new TV spots.
Yes.
That was pretty exciting.
Yes.
Someone they put it on the Facebook group of these 3 TV spots that are back to back that actually have quite a lot in it, and I think and James said, "Oh, new screenshots, Damian." I was like, "No, not after the last time. No way.
We're not doing
even for the new ones." But there's some very cool stuff. Did you watch them?
No.
Right, good. Should have watched. There's some very, very cool stuff in there. Like you get Galadriel go and looking a bit crazy, and the dwarfs on foot. There's big infantry dwarfs with shields making a was this
like
kind
a
of
Roman shield?
Yeah, testudo, like doing this kind of thing, which is pretty cool. There's some new shots of like Bolg and Tariel fighting, and and Dane, of course. Dane caused a bit of a stir.
So Dane is in the TV shots.
Yeah, very briefly swinging his hammer. He's on foot.
Okay.
You just see one shot of him swinging his hammer, but there was a picture release, wasn't there, from Empire magazine, which is out yesterday. As you're watching this, it's coming out on Thursday. It's a guest edited. This is interesting. If you're in the UK, or you can order it from abroad, maybe. This month's Empire magazine is guest edited by Peter Jackson, and it's a huge farewell to Middle Earth special. And the picture in there that's doing the rounds on the internet of Dane on his infamous pig. So yeah, that is out there. One of those.
It'll probably be well worth getting that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be going to. There's 5 different covers.
Okay, I
cool.
think I've seen the one with Thorin in armour. Is that?
That's the subscribers cover.
That's the subscribers cover.
Yeah, so you won't be able to buy that one. There's like 5 different ones. 5, you see.
Yeah.
It's clever. And it's the elves, Bard, Thorin and Bilbo.
Gandalf, presumably?
Sorry, Gandalf and Bilbo. Thorin, Feeling Keeley, and Azog and Bolg.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Looks good. All
Nice
stuff. Yeah, that was all cool. Well worth a watch.
Okay. New models?
New models. First topic.
Yeah.
Yep. So as of yet, it's Tuesday evening, and the gods of leaks have not been kind to us this week. As of yet, there are no pictures. There are pictures from White Dwarf, but in the unreasonable way these things normally do, the 40k pics have leaked first because more people are interested. But yeah, what are we getting this week, Tom?
Dwarves. but a select bunch of dwarves.
Indeed. How many?
A company.
A full company. And a hobbit.
And a hobbit.
So yes, this week we are getting the Dwarven Company.
Yeah. And it should be tonight as you're watching.
Yeah, I'm sure by this point anyone who's interested will have seen photos, but we have not seen photos.
Mm-hmm.
But we have seen the release list
and the
prices from the UK White Dwarf.
Yeah.
So, first up, without the prices.
Yeah.
Interested? We're presuming this is an armoured Thorin's company.
Yes. If it was without the prices, yes, in all of them. With the prices, probably a select few.
Okay. So the prices are?
A lot.
They are a lot.
Well, let's just explain first. So it's not the company in a box. It's going to be Thorin and Bilbo, and then the rest of the dwarves are all in threes.
Yeah, and they're in what some people have called annoying threes.
They're not.
You
They're
get
the three that you'd expect to be together.
Yeah, you get Dwalin, Balin, and Oin, which is a good pack.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's something like, I can't remember it off the top of my head, but it's something like Feely, Keely, and Bofa, Dorry, Ori, and Bomber.
So not Dorry, Ori, Nori.
Yeah, and then, who's left? Biffa. I've lost track. But, they, and people have been cynically arguing.
That's a deliberate ploy.
Yeah, so that you need to buy all the packs.
Yeah.
Potentially. When they split themselves up into very handy things, it seems strange not to. But, they're a company. If they think it'll make more money, it makes a lot of sense for them to do that.
Yeah.
And interestingly, it's only Thorin and Bilbo as one pack.
Yeah.
And Dwalin, Balin, and Oin who are going to be in the shops.
Yes,
the others are online only. Which makes a lot of sense because Dwalin, Balin, and I think to be fair, those are the ones people would want. Dwalin, Balin, and Thorin.
Yeah.
They're the kind
Feely
of
and Keely, though, you'd think would be.
Yeah.
And you'd have thought they'd do a Dwalin Balin pack, a Feely Keely pack, and then the three.
Yeah, because they're slightly.
Why not do it like that?
Annoying and Gloin.
Yeah, oh sorry, Annoying and Gloin. Yeah. Because then you could do, you just do it at 2/3 the price for the twos.
For the prices for the three dwarves.
Yeah.
Are £25.
Yeah, which, if you look at it relative to single models, is good.
Yeah.
Because the captains are £12.
And the named heroes
are 15.
Like 12 or 15.
Yeah.
So your Thralls and your Thrones are 12. Yeah. Tarion now is 15 quid.
Yeah.
And I think people were relatively happy with paying 12 quid for a hero. Mm. So that 3 heroes is 36 quid, you're getting 3 heroes for 25 quid.
Yeah.
So it's not, if you look at it like that, it's not entirely unreasonable.
No.
When it becomes unreasonable is when you think to get the whole company, it's going to cost you £118.
Yeah. Because Bilbo and Thorin are slightly cheaper, they're 18.
Yeah, they're 18 in a 2-pack.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's a lot of... this is where I'm like, this is my issue. It's like, I splurged on the elves. It's like, I want to get these.
I've not done this.
And it's like,
this could be a Christmas present because these are like, I'm not asking for generic elves. This is, can I have these characters that you know from the film? So maybe that's the way to go.
But I don't have 100 quid.
I've not splurged yet. Yeah. But yeah, so for me, it's if the models look great, I'll probably do it.
And we're assuming they're the armed ones. There was a couple of rumours, a couple of people chatting about it being the ones from the
late
the rulebook. Being that company.
Mate, it could well be.
It could theoretically be, but
I think it would be armoured, wouldn't it? Maybe it would be that one. That is an interesting shout.
It is, but what makes me think it's not is the names.
Yes.
Because, and this is what I'm quite excited about.
It is very exciting.
Thanks, I'm glad you agree. The names have changed again, just like I did last week for Tarion, Mirkwood Exile, Legolas, Prince of Mirkwood, so on and so forth. Bilbo is called Bilbo Baggins Master Burglar.
What does that imply?
We'll get to that.
Okay.
Thorin is called King Under the Mountain.
What does that imply?
We'll get to that.
Okay.
And all the other dwarfs, it's like Dwalin, Balin, Oin, Champions of Erebor.
What does that imply?
So why don't we discuss what is
okay.
Got to. So the fact they have different names again to me implies they're going to have different profiles.
It implies that Simon Grant's been having a lot of fun.
It does. It really does. Yeah. So that to me, you wouldn't need alternative profiles for ones in the book.
No.
Particularly, and that's that Thorin King Under the Mountain and Bilbo Master Burglar, they're so clearly Battle of Five Armies.
Yes.
Yes.
So what we hadn't actually mentioned was on the thread we talked about Legolas, the different profile, and Tauriel, and Thranduil, and Simon had actually made an offhand comment saying
they were going to be awesome.
And then more.
Yeah, they're going to be awesome and some.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, there's been a lot of chat about Thranduil and Legolas, particularly in the film's depictions.
Yeah.
And maybe they're going up to
3 attacks.
3 attacks. Like, so, who knows?
Yeah.
I quite like the idea of giving choice.
Yeah.
I think we, I don't know. I'm so confused if we talked about this.
We did.
But like Thranduil having 3 attacks, but then not having the Nature's Wrath thing or something.
And then
like
Legolas having Orcris means that he's got the 3 attacks and whatever, but then doesn't have.
Oh, Orcris gives him an extra attack.
Yeah, or whatever else it gives him.
But he doesn't get
Well, he doesn't get the auto shot.
Yeah.
But I don't think he'd take that away from Legolas, because
Maybe.
that is a big part of Legolas.
But I think that would be, making people choose like that is cool.
Yeah.
I think.
So yeah, a bit like the Haldir
there's 2
differences.
Haldirs, there's 2 Boromirs on there, a couple of Aragorns and stuff.
Yeah.
And there's normally it's a very fine balancing act to get them both viable. And there's normally a runaway winner, but I think it's cool.
Yeah.
And so Champions Variable implies to me they'll be armoured. And hopefully, and this would be the trade-off, they won't be able to ride ponies.
Yeah, no ponies.
That's what I think would be a really good deal. I think they'll have either like armour or dwarf armour for +5.
Yeah.
1 defence or 2 defence, 5-10 points, but no pony.
Yeah.
That would be a really
maybe
good...
take away fate on a few characters.
Yes, potentially, indeed.
I mean, we've talked about this before. We don't know, but it'll be cool.
Yeah. And the most exciting ones, Thorin and Bilbo.
And we're hoping that Bilbo will be in the blue coat.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'd really like a...
Yeah, there's been a few red coat.
There's been like 4 or 5 of them. But yeah, getting him in his little blue coat. And he's potentially a very good profile.
Because what might he have if he's the Master Burglar, Damian?
He might have the Arkenstone.
3 Fate Bilbo with the Arkenstone, presumably with its rules if he gets it.
I guess, yeah.
Would be incredible.
That'd be
He's
really
invisible.
Cool. He's invisible. He's got Sting, and he's now defence 6.
Yeah, because he's got the Mithril coat, and he's potentially got unlimited fate.
I thought Bilbo was already good. Oh, and we'll reference this later, the official FAQ has now confirmed that F-mounted, his mount's invisible. So if he can still keep a pony, he's probably the most powerful model in the game.
Yeah.
So that will be cool.
Yeah.
But I'm more excited for the model, I think, in a way. And then obviously Thorin King Under the Mountain.
Yes.
In Thor's armour?
I assume so.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not, but it would be awesome.
Because what got me thinking today, looking at some of those TV spots, it's pretty clear. A couple of things actually. He gets Orcris back. Have you seen that?
Nope.
There's definitely a couple of shots where he gets Orcris back, which I think storytelling wise explains why Legolas has got it. That Legolas brings it back. The whole thing ends at Ravenhill or something, and he gives it back to Thorin. I've got this feeling that maybe Thorin gets done over by Azog a bit, and then gets Orcris back, and then defeats Azog.
Okay.
With Orcris, something like that. But in all those battle scenes, he's not in Thor's armour.
No, he's not.
And I think they're gonna, and he looks more like Thorin for the first films.
Yeah.
And this is my new theory, that they're going to use Thor's armour as a symbolic
He's
thing.
mad.
Yeah, of him being mad. And he becomes Thor. He goes into the mountain, he becomes king, he puts the armour on.
And then him taking it off is him releasing himself.
Yeah. Okay. So then when he heroically leads the charge out, he's cast that off and freed himself from it.
Yeah.
I think that's mine. So in that respect, I think you might get a bunch of unhappy people one way or the other.
Yeah.
Because when you go see the film, you're like, well, now we need Thorin in his non-armoured Battle 5 Armies gear. You know, like slightly less armoured.
But, I mean, you can get that kind of from the prologue one, where he's not got Orcris. That would work, I think, pretty much.
But that, I mean, that's all speculation.
Yeah.
But yeah, him and Thorin in Thor's armour would be cool.
Yeah.
I think. Really good. And that's
and he'd
probably
be a tank.
yeah, because he's got.
He wouldn't have the
got to be
open
like
shield
defense. No, but he'll have a shield.
He'd be
Be defense
ridiculous.
9, but possibly spoilers, less fate.
Yeah, possibly.
So yeah, those are that's the excitement of the
Yeah,
kind of
and it'd be
profiles
really
that
cool
are
to
coming
see in the White Dwarf. So definitely want to pick that up. I think that. So yeah, what else do we think is going to be released then? How many weeks worth can we get out of this?
out of the whole thing.
So dwarves, Dane's dwarves.
Yeah, that's
You've got
I think
the
that's
one
going to
set.
be an army, isn't it?
Yeah, so that's one set. Infantry, cavalry, Dane, captain, any
Crew.
trebuchet type.
Yeah, the
things,
ballista.
The ballistas. Okay. Any more good to come? Lake Town, Bard, Lake Town refugees. That's probably about it, isn't it? Oh, I don't think they'll add any more Lake Town guard type stuff.
Well, that's also that seems to be the main management.
But that would be it. There'd only be the two main releases really. Bard, unless they had a they can't really have a captain, can they, for a refugees?
And they might also do it alongside something else that week.
Yeah.
Or they might, there might be staggering releases. What? I mean, you're not arguably missing some fairly fundamental thing they might release alongside Lake Town.
Dragon.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. Good point. Then, Evil, Azog's lot, Bolg's lot.
I think that's Evil's the one that's most up in the air.
Yeah.
Because of all the digital stuff.
Yeah.
Like, who knows what you could get for that?
Yeah.
It might be one set of ores. It might be a ton of creatures.
Yeah.
The dwarfs are meant to have these mole things.
Yeah.
These tunnelling worm mole creatures. So God only knows how that will work.
No idea.
But yeah, Bolg, new Bolg, surely
Yes.
Bolg. We want Bolg.
Yes, that is.
Warg.
Yes,
That
is one of the major Bolg foot mounted.
Yeah, that's got to come.
Please.
But then you start moving out and getting those ring wraiths.
Oh yeah.
I don't think we'll realistically get anything
No.
for the Necromancer
No,
because it's too unless it
like a shade.
yeah, unless he changes form, it becomes too ephemeral. You could always
Oh, they could do the flame. The
yeah, well, I was thinking you
Sauron
could get the
flame.
Sauron model now,
Yeah.
couldn't you, and paint him flamey.
Yeah,
That'd be quite cool.
that would be cool.
And the ring rose, and arguably then, I don't think we'll get another White Council set because they don't look massively different.
But it's the Sauron, but he's a lot thinner. He's elegant, but then with the crown.
Yeah.
It's not quite the same as the Battle Sauron.
But yeah, and there's the Dwarf Chariot as well.
White Council. But I don't think they'll re-release that.
That's literally what I just said.
Is it? I'm tired. I wasn't
I
listening.
literally just said exactly those words. And yeah, I agree with you because you stole my words. But yeah, I think.
I thought you said we wouldn't release the ring race. And then you said the White
Yeah,
Council. Okay.
because they've already got the Elrond in his armour from the first unexpected change.
That's a good point.
But yeah, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting.
Cool.
So yeah, those are coming out. You will, if you're. Is that smashed or?
No. You're alright.
Someone's just smashed the place up. So yeah, if you're interested in seeing pre-release images, then you will have certainly done so by now. If you're not, then the official photos may well be up by now, depending on when you watch this, because they will be up around 7 o'clock on Friday. So that's pretty exciting.
Indeed.
Something else. Can I go off agenda? Something that's a bit interesting that I'd like to ask our viewers about. I picked up this week.
I know what you're going to talk about.
Yeah, 'cause I mentioned it on the Facebook
Yes.
group. So this is a new White Dwarf. I picked it up to have a look at all the lovely new Hobbit models. And something I noticed was that now, relatively recently I think, I haven't had one in a while, but the opening salvo bit has no mention of any people.
No.
There's
There's no
Jez
not even
Bicker
the editor.
isn't there. There are no credits
No.
in the issue for who writes it. At the back, during the This Week in White Dwarf, there is not the hobby blog of what we've been up to.
No.
In the little bits here where they write about it, you've not got the initials at the end. And most bizarrely, in the battle report,
doesn't mention who.
There's no mention of anyone playing it. It's all written in a kind of,
Yeah.
I don't know, like odd, and then they did this, and then they did, and as if someone else has written it. So the like conclusions of that was a tough battle for had the battle continued, and and it's like they've removed all the
Stripped
people
all personality out of it.
from it.
Yeah.
Now, I got the Wood Elf one because I quite like Wood Elves, and I think I got the Nagash one, and I think then, I'm sure the Nagash issue had people in it. So this is a relatively new thing, I think.
Yeah.
And does anyone? What do you think of that? It's weird, isn't it?
Why would you prefer that?
No, I don't know.
Why would that be a way to go?
And the thing is, if you read it, the whole thing then reads slightly less person. It feels like one person has been writing the whole thing.
Yeah.
In a way, and
I
it's
think
just weird.
Yeah, and I think the key thing is that the old white dwarves that everyone really loves, people love them because of how personable they are.
Yeah. But even then,
going completely away from that.
I've quite liked the weekly white dwarfs. I think they're better than the monthly was when they changed.
Yes.
And it's good because it costs you a couple of quid when you know you're interested in what's in that issue. Yeah. And I quite enjoyed them to spend an hour reading or something. Yeah. But that made a big difference to me. Reading that, it was like, I want to know what he thinks about this, and I want to see a little picture of the person who's writing it, and and that was always the thing of reading the old white dwarfs and going, Steve. I remember Steve Anastasov, I think his name was, and he would always write the blurs for the new Wood Elf releases because he was collecting Wood Elves. Yeah. And then someone else's tactical article was, I was playing Steve again the other day, and he slaughtered me with his Wood Elves, and it was all you got to know them and all that. And I think even in the weekly ones there was a bit of that with what people were up to and stuff, and it just seems very odd to me. Yeah. And so I don't know if anyone had any information on that or when it started, but I'm pretty sure for the Nagash release, it was still full of people. Yeah. So it doesn't seem like a particularly strange thing. So sorry about that.
No, it's good aside.
Thanks.
Topical.
It is topical.
Well, it could not be topical, but we don't know because we've not played a white dwarf for a few weeks.
But I hadn't heard anyone else mention it either on the things.
No. Okay, so what else has come out this week?
Very exciting.
Yeah, long overdue.
Long overdue.
But
very, very welcome.
Yes.
New FAQs.
Brilliant.
Official GW new FAQs.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Simon.
Yeah, cheers.
And I know you wrote them a while ago, and we'll come into that on some of the kind of outstanding issues, I guess. But he did it a long time ago, and I think
they take a long time to translate.
Yeah, whatever translation things they have to do means it must have been a good few months.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, maybe half a year almost to get this done.
And what was wonderful was that they came out the day before a tournament.
Yes.
When you talk about like getting nerds agitated and excited, like we were in the car up to Stirling, and I had a text from Jamie going, "The new FAQs are." I'm like, "Oh my god, are they going to be in use?" Oh my god, we need to. And there was a genuine bit where we're in this car going through the Scottish mountains, and you're trying to get a 3G signal to download the latest, these FAQs, so that the 5 nerds, because you're in a car with 5 nerds, it's the perfect thing to pass the time.
Yes.
Get the FAQs and discuss them. So the last update was April 2013. So it's nearly, it's a year and a half.
Yeah, I was in my old flat. I was
in my old flat. At that point. So obviously in that time an awful lot has changed, because they were out 4 months after the big rulebook. Yeah. So not an awful lot came in.
No, the only thing that we've had is the Gundabad Spearman.
Yeah, in White Dwarf.
In White Dwarf.
So this is, and if you bear in mind that they were probably written then 2 months before as well, this is essentially the first major set of FAQs since the Hobbit rulebook. Yeah. So lots in there. And obviously a lot of it, we've obviously created our community FAQ.
Yes.
And gone with those kind of rulings, and we essentially just sent them into Simon and said, look, there's obviously going to be others, but here's the things that have come up in the UK scene regularly. Can you sort them? And
not so regularly.
And what was fantastic is the vast majority of those have been answered. Yeah. And I thought it was really, really interesting to see the ones that I haven't looked through them all yet, because I only just got Western, but it's very interesting to see some of the ones that haven't, which he very much said when he was on the thread on Facebook. He said they're not all going in because some of them are common sense.
Yeah.
Some of them essentially don't meet the criteria,
Yeah.
and are just people being almost too picky about
Yeah.
the wording of the rules.
Yeah.
So that's quite interesting.
Yeah.
But what's hilarious about that, of course, is if someone's asked them, you go, yeah, well, that's common sense. And they go, yeah, it's common sense because the answer's yes. No, it's common sense because the answer's no.
Yeah.
You know, so that sort of thing. But yeah.
Quite a few things have changed there.
Yeah, it depends how you look at it.
Yeah, if you're looking at it relative to the community FAQ. But there are some rulings that have gone the other way.
Yep. Which is cool.
Yeah,
which is fine.
The purpose of the community FAQ was not to be right, it was to have a ruling.
Yeah, it's to have something in place.
Yeah.
So a fun few hours for your head going through that and just deleting stuff.
Yes.
We'd be quite pleased to see that the community FAQ will be a hell of a lot smaller.
Yes.
Going forward, which is cool.
Yeah. So, what have we got? Quite a lot. We won't say every little rule that's changed, but kind of the key ones we'll probably
Yeah,
talk
we'll
about.
discuss anything that we think is particularly relevant.
Okay, first one we think is sensible is heroes can now benefit from 2 heroic actions per phase, but can only call 1.
Perfect. So in the rulebook it says you can only benefit from one per phase, so you get into strange situations where a wizard wants to channel a spell and a hero over here calls a heroic move, and that wizard either loses his might point for channeling or doesn't move for the turn. Neither of which sound particularly intuitive.
Yeah. And then the Lendl, because he heroic combats for free, can never heroic strike.
Yes.
Things
absolutely.
like that.
And so thankfully that makes a lot of sense that you can't call a heroic channel and a heroic move.
Ah, no, interesting. The Lendl one means because you can benefit from 2 but only call 1. But I think from him his combat is free, and that's separate to the strike.
I'd almost be inclined to think. I don't think
that's a special rule. That's different.
It probably needs to be put into now Baron Community FAQ.
Yes.
But it is that sort of thing where it's like that was a special rule written before those.
But it makes sense that one, you get 2 heroes in a fight, 1 can combat, 1 can strike.
Yeah.
Because that's a, you're chucking 2 might at it, but it's
exactly.
it's a good tactical move.
That was when we put that in the Community FAQ, that was kind of the argument that you're still risking 2 might in something that could get utterly cancelled.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's great.
Next thing, Iron, he cannot bump a heroic strike.
Yeah, or a wound roll.
Yeah,
it was a bit
like that.
Ambiguous wording in the rulebook that said he can re-roll a dice in a fight.
Yeah.
But he's essentially like a banner.
Yeah, it's just a dual roll.
It's a banner roll, which is cool.
And that's what we would use it for. I mean, I don't. It just came up as a.
I think you can't. Maybe. I think that's when the majority of the time people would use it.
Yeah.
To save a Thorin's company member if they've mucked up.
Yep. Azog and the White Warg. This is a nice
big,
ruling.
yeah.
I think it's better than what was in the community FAQ because that was a bit cumbersome. Simon's done it quite neatly and said that they just share might.
Yeah, so it's now it's a new special rule, isn't it? It's called Deadly Union.
Yeah.
Where they're treated as one model with 6 might, 4 will, and 2 fate.
Yeah.
So Azog just got better, which is cool because we had it pretty much like that.
Yeah.
But the fate couldn't be combined.
No.
That was we decided that the White Warg's fate was its own.
Yeah. So but he's not like a Warg Marauder, he can be knocked off it.
Oh yeah.
And then they separate.
Yeah, you still have to note down what they use.
Take it off from each. But when they're together, you can use whatever you want.
But Azog's now got 2 fate, which will keep him alive a little bit. And he's now got 6 might, so there's 6 might to heroic strike from. Whereas in the past we had 3 might on the White Warg, which was fight at 5.
Yeah.
3 might on Azog, which was fight at 7. So Azog got a big boost.
Yeah.
But again, very sensible ruling.
Yes.
I think it makes a lot of sense. Very clean.
Yeah. Monstrous Cavalry, when they're hurling, it now, when you've got a cavalry model and it's dismounted, so essentially it's when a fell beast charges into a rider, can you hurl the 40mm base or the 25mm base? And the answer here is that the mount has to pass a courage test. So for a horse it would automatically flee, so you can't chuck that, but a warg, if it sticks around, you can then chuck the warg.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
Monsters, they can use brutal power attacks or special strikes, but not both at the same time.
Yeah, which is cool.
And the same with Shelob and the Spider Queen, actually, they can't use their poison special rule with a brutal power attack.
Yeah, and I think we had said they could use it on Rend.
Yes.
Because we saw they were in.
Yeah, but now it's a bit cleaner just to say they can't.
I think they've kind of gone for this. If you have a special rule,
Yeah.
it affects it when you're striking.
Yeah.
Brutal power attacks are entirely separate.
Yeah.
And don't get
Yeah,
the
that's what
benefit of
they've
any
drawn a
special
big
rules,
line
which
between
is, I think, great and very clean.
Yeah. We already said about invisible mounts.
Yeah, I would be thrilled.
Yeah.
Isildur on the ring, with the ring. Bilbo on a pony, entirely invisible.
This one's a funny one. Whether you can use magic on your own models, it's now been ruled that you can't use any form of aggressive magic on your own models. So you can't blast your own model into an enemy model, for example.
Yeah, because there were a couple of. Didn't it say? It said like you can't command one, but it didn't say whether you can blast one. So it's now like a kind of blanket.
Yeah, there's a big list of things you can't do.
Yeah.
There's now a Desolation of Smaug FAQ, which is cool.
Yeah.
The big one is Legolas.
Legolas. The Legolas ruling.
Yeah.
Most hotly debated ruling for the community FAQ.
And it was the one. Yeah, it was the one where A, there was the most comments, and B, it was the closest.
Yeah. It was still a good 2-1 majority in the end.
Yeah.
But there's definitely the most votes because a lot of people were voting with what they thought it should be.
Yeah.
And then their interpretation of the rules and other interpretation of the rules
and Simon's come down on the you say common sense side, but you know what he believed to be how the rule was intended, which is that Legolas can shoot what he wants because he's Legolas.
Because he's Legolas. We had a chat with him about this at 2012, and I think we could all learn a wonderful point from that.
Yes.
That the ruling was made not by analysing the mechanics of the rule book and what this means and what this means and what this says. He can pick the horse or the rider not because of the wording. He pick it because he's Legolas.
And he's awesome.
So that's great.
Yep.
That was, I know a lot of people will be happy about that.
Mm-hmm. And it's also altered Bard's and King's Huntsman's special rules. So King's Huntsman's a bit odd now because before it said he doesn't hit the horse or rider on a 2+, but now you get to choose which one you're going to hit, and then the 2+ applies to the one you want to hit.
Yeah, and Bard gets to re-roll that in the way roll as well.
Yes.
So basically, again, it's really good, clean blanket rulings that those 3 special rules all do affect the roll for a horse or mount.
Yeah, and the same kind of blanket applying now. It's now spectres and shades can't have. Special strikes.
Yeah, they can't do special strikes.
Or swords, whatever.
Right.
So the same as the Army of the Dead, because it was a bit conflicting in the old FAQ, because one could and others couldn't.
So Legolas got a boost, which is great because everyone was saying how underpowered he was.
Yep. It got the Wood Elf special rule. Wood Ranger special rule got cleared up in terms of how many bonus attacks you can have as a captain.
Yeah.
It's 3 additional ones, so that means that they are better than a normal troop when they're surrounded.
Because a captain can go up to 5.
Yes.
It was a question of whether if you're pedantic over the ruling, whether it says you can go up to 3 attacks or up to 3 bonus attacks.
Yeah.
Again, I think very clearly meant to be 3 bonus attacks.
And then also spear models don't count as being in the combat, which was in the FAQ already, the community FAQ.
Yeah.
Other things, Mimics can't barge.
They can do the other 2 though.
Yes. But why can't they barge?
They can't barge because there was some confusion of if they barge, whether they can trample.
Yeah, so it just makes it easier if they don't.
Yeah. So they've just said, no, they'll sort that out.
Yeah, Rend and Hurl, fine. Yeah, can't barge. Okay, so the next one is Camul and Gullivar, and those kind of models when they hurl things.
And the Dweller.
And the Dweller, yeah. Anything that hurls something will not regain lost will or wounds.
Yeah. Yeah, so the Gullivar and the Dweller get wounds back for every wound they cause.
Mm-hmm.
But if they hurl a model, even the model gets hurled doesn't count towards that.
Yeah.
So again, it's taking brutal power attacks away from special rules.
Yeah. But it still means that if you hurl that model and call it heroic combat and it dies, you can move on.
Yes.
It doesn't exclude that.
No.
But yeah, it's that separation that
Which
brutal
again
power
is very
attacks and normal
clean.
strikes. Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense.
That's about it, but we haven't come on to the biggest news, like the
Which
FAQs.
is
Camels.
Yeah, of course.
Biggest news of the FAQ.
Yeah, I mean these were
two huge rulings.
Yeah, they were some of the more hotly debated questions
Yeah.
that were in there
Yeah.
that people were very contentious about. But thankfully, first one is that when a camel charges into a cavalry model, the impaler hits both.
Yeah.
Hits the
Key.
mount and the rider.
Yeah.
Which is really important because the rows I've seen in tournaments about that is it's just good to, you know, all those camel armies.
Yeah.
Now, when they're facing off against cavalry, they'll know that. So that's one of them.
Yeah. Next one's camels impaling things on the ground.
Oh, God, yeah, of course.
They don't get double strikes.
No. But again, I mean that...
Game changing.
It's
like Legolas.
Yeah, it's like Legolas. Yeah. And that, I'm sure now we're going to see, there's going to be camel players out there going, well, it's better for when I charge cavalry, but it's worse when I charge miles on the floor. So, you know...
Wins and loses.
Yeah, are camels worth
viable?
Yeah, I mean, you know, are they the overpowered, always chosen troops they traditionally were? But yeah, that's a big deal.
Yeah. The one interesting thing is, well, I don't know how interesting.
I think
it is,
there's several interesting things.
Hurl isn't updated relative to what's in the community FAQ, and this is purely because of when Simon wrote these rules.
So this has come from Simon himself. Now for anyone, I know some of the guys might not be on the Facebook page.
Yeah.
But after the Mansfield tournament, there were 3 really quite big, important rules queries.
Yeah.
And Simon very kindly came onto the Facebook page and gave us rulings, like official GW rulings on these, which we put into the community FAQ.
Yeah.
Problem being, he had finished this set of FAQs before them. Yeah. So it looks like
it's gone backwards.
It's gone back, but he has again come onto the Facebook page and said no, those rulings are still in place. Yeah. So they will stay in the community FAQ.
And what were they?
They were that if you channel Panic Steed or Chill Soul, you target one model and it affects others.
Yeah.
Any model within that bubble can attempt to resist it.
Yeah.
So that's one.
Like Nature's Wrath.
Yes, yeah, exactly. It's an area of effect thing.
Yeah. Number 2.
2, that when a monster hurls a model, it picks the model it wants to hurl first. Every other model backs away.
Yeah.
And then you can hurl the model from the point where you're touching.
Yes.
In any direction that doesn't cross the monster's base.
So basically, you've got that 180 degree line touching the base. The tangent.
Yeah. You don't get to pick up the model and move it to anywhere on the monster's base.
No.
It goes from the point they're touching, which makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
So yeah, that's the ruling. And the third one, which is very important.
You can't remember, can you?
No. Can you?
No.
Really?
No. You wrote it.
It's
I wasn't at the Mansfield tournament.
You're on the Facebook group,
Oh, yeah, I probably voted on it.
Oh, what is it?
No, we didn't vote.
No, because Simon came and sorted it out.
Boom.
What is it? It's... Immobilise. It's Immobilise.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
That's
yes, good shout.
Okay,
this was quite important, actually.
Good content. Yeah, it was, because this is huge. That if you're immobilised, you can do nothing, nada, zip. Which means, no, the question was about can a immobilised model call a heroic action?
Yeah.
Can it do a standfast?
Yeah. Can it shield?
Yeah.
Can it use a special rule?
Yes.
And the answer now is no to everything. Which is contradicted in the FAQ because it's still the old stuff and it says yes, Rumal can still have his swift parry, Boromir can still have his horn, but the answer is now no to everything if it's in a fighting sense.
Yeah, and again, the ruling for that came down from Simon. He said, look at the fluff.
Yeah.
He said, it says they're out of it, they don't know what's going on, they can't, they're not taking part in the battle.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
Not because of, if you're free to move, you can call a heroic action, but are you free to, well, it says you're immobilized, all this sort of
well,
stuff.
there was that, we haven't talked about this, but there was that long thread on whether a war marauder
why would you bring it
runs away for panic steed. But that's another one where it's, take all of the wordings aside from everywhere. It says it counts as one model.
Yeah.
So that's it. Done.
So it doesn't run?
No.
Because you can't separate it?
No. So done.
Done.
That's the common sense answer. Yeah. Let's just move on with
that.
our lives.
That was my issue with that, because I only got involved in that in a very light-hearted sense.
Yeah.
But my issue with it is not stop. It was stop looking at the rules. And James Baldwin said a very similar thing on there. So stop looking at the rules. The answer won't be in the rules.
Yeah.
The answer will be when someone goes, well, it's this.
Yeah.
Because of the Legolas rule and the immobilized
Yeah.
one, they will go with the cleanest, simplest thing. Now, I
Yeah.
did think, and we were talking about this at the weekend, it's slightly foolish on GW's part to create one model in the game that works like cavalry and is cavalry but doesn't work like cavalry.
Yeah.
It's a cavalry model but it doesn't work like cavalry.
Yeah.
So that's bound to cause a problem down the line somewhere. But
putting 3 goblins on a wall is going to cause a blooming problem.
There was over 90 comments on that. It was, and do you know how many of them were different? 4. But, so that's a kind of, I think that you can learn a lot from that. And of course the problem is we can't do that for the community FAQ. Like, we don't have that power to go, because he's Legolas, you have to go to the rule books. But I think if we could all learn a bit from that.
And just when you're in game it doesn't really matter, you just choose at the start and you be consistent.
But the immobilised thing is huge, because you then, what you can do is you can roll a dice to win the fight, and you can back away, and that's it.
Yes.
So it was casting spells. That was the thing. Can a wizard cast a spell?
I mean,
that was where the issue came from. I was like, no,
of course not.
Like, he's immobilised. He wasn't going to cast a spell, but he's not. Doesn't have to. I think it says he doesn't have to move.
Yeah.
And all this sort of stuff. It's like that was a really big, and that ruling is massive. If you consider how many wizards are out there, but it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Here's one for you that we talked about in a game at the weekend, and we actually it came up. It was ruled against me.
Okay.
But then, as it turned out, I managed to win the game, and we chatted about it afterwards. And probably decided the other way. The cave drake.
Yes.
When it's trapped.
Yes.
If it loses a fight, it makes a strike against every model.
Yes.
If it's immobilised.
No, it doesn't make a strike.
Well, but.
Because it doesn't get a special rule.
Yes. That's the sort of thing that it was one of those things where it's not a thing, but I think having that blanket immobilised ruling means. It's thrashing around at you. It's immobilised.
It doesn't.
There you go.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, fine. The other interesting one was when you do a heroic strike.
Yes, and this isn't in any form of FAQ because it's relatively new.
No.
So why not?
So this is the question of when you call a heroic strike, do you then roll a dice then to say what fight value you go up to, or do you do it at the start of that model's fight? Now, normally this isn't a problem, but if you have heroic combats coming in and interfering with the order of things, then it does make a difference, because say you're heroic combating into another fight, if you roll it at the start of the phase, then you'll know what fight value you're going to be potentially heroic combating into. If you do it at the start of that fight, then you don't know, and it's a gamble, potentially.
Because sometimes, if you can see a heroic combat coming, this happened in my game against him.
Yeah, you would do it.
He had Gil-galad, he called a heroic combat. He was clearly going into Frasky to kill him. I called a heroic strike as a deterrent, not in a way to beat Gil-galad, but in the hope that my fight's above him, or he doesn't know if my fight's above him. And then when he comes into him,
you could get lucky.
You could get lucky, but there's a risk there.
Yeah.
And worst case scenario, and this is what would normally happen, he then wouldn't put him into him.
Yeah, he'd combat someone else.
And what I've done is spent a might point to keep Rascal alive.
Yeah.
Essentially. And the rulebook's just completely ambiguous on it. It doesn't say one way or the other.
No.
So I think that will be going into the community FAQ.
Yeah, and I think our thought is that it's tactically better to have it not applying right at the start.
Yeah.
So then it gives you more tactical variety in terms of preventing people heroic combating into you, and also when you're doing the heroic combat, it gives that element of risk, which is more fun.
Yeah, and it's also, you could use the example of fainting. That you don't kind of declare you're fainting at the start of the fight phase. So I kind of think you get to that model's fight and you go, right, so what's going on? Well, I'll heroic strike up to this, and then I'll faint, which brings it down to this.
And you have if you have bat swarms in there and everything, it'd be a bit clunky if you had to do the heroic strike at the start, then come back later and be like, right, so he's fight 10, but then there's the ring and the bat swarm.
And I think that's how most people play it.
Yeah.
I think that's how we've always played it. But obviously the issue is 9 times out of 10 doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
But it does need to be. That's exactly the sort of thing that for tournaments needs a ruling.
Yeah.
So I think what will happen is we'll put it in the community FAQ as that way.
Yeah.
And then if anyone disagrees, we can challenge it and we'll do it as a poll.
Yeah.
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 But it's another kind of it's amazing to think that 2 years on after all these games you still get
new things.
the immobilised thing was huge. It's like, how has that not been a big issue?
It's because in the old rule book it said, and you can do nothing further.
Yeah. I mean, for 2 years, how's that not been an issue? But
people don't read what they think the ruling is.
Absolutely.
Essentially.
So new FAQs already out of date, sadly. But thanks to Simon, really, really appreciate it because it's really great to see that kind of interaction with the community.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And like taking on what we've been doing and incorporating it into the game, which is cool. Yeah. How are we doing?
I think that's it.
That's about us. We just passed the hour mark.
We'll be back next week.
With new releases.
Yeah.
Probably, whatever they are.
Yeah.
So, it's out on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Hope you like the Armoured Company.
Yeah, go and get the White Dwarf.
Check out all the models in them.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll be discussing the new ones next week.
Yeah, so when are you away? When's that?
I don't know. Friday.
Florida.
I say the end of December. I'm gonna be in Tring.
29th, 28th.
Yeah, I'm gonna be in Tring from about the 20th to about the 5th. About a 2 week period.
Tring.
Yeah, Tring and Florida.
Tring and Florida. Okay, so it's a Christmas New Year break from the Palantir basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably.
So the last Palantir that you're gonna get before Christmas will be the week.
Friday the 19th or something.
Yes.
Maybe discussing our views on the film.
Yes. Yes.
How exciting.
Yes.
So, you still got a little Palantir action to last you through the year. Yeah. Thanks ever for watching. Let us know what you think about the various issues below. As ever, don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe.
Support your hobby. Follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook.
And happy strategy battle game.